Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week is Eli.
Hello, I am here today.
And Unoclay.
I've been huffing paint fumes for like an hour, so if I sound weird, it's because I'm painting a room for my wife's Christmas present.
Sure, that's why you're sniffing paint.
Well, I mean, it's a bonus, okay? It's a bonus. I'm painting a room while I'm huffing paint fumes. Dig it?
No wonder it's taken you like 6 days to do it.
Oh man, it's like the tiniest room in our house too. I'm just like stretching it out, just like taking naps with my head by the paint bucket and stuff. It's great. It's like a video game, like Touch Fuzzy Get Dizzy in Yoshi's Island, man. It's great.
Alright, so we'll start off with what we've been playing this week, and I've been playing a couple things. I didn't really play too much about Pokemon Sun, but I'll get to that in a minute. I did play Overwatch, however. There was a free weekend. I played it for a couple of hours on Sunday. And Mike's joining in right now. Say hi, Mike.
What up?
So you just jumped in at the right moment. I
heard free weekend. Sounds like Overwatch. Free November 18th through 21st.
Yeah, it was, I was playing it for, I forget, like 2.5 hours on Sunday or whatever. I didn't play it before, obviously, because it wasn't free and I haven't bought it. But I had quite a bit of fun with it. The only unfortunate thing is I suck balls at it, so it was kind of annoying to like lose and die a lot and then have to take the walk of shame back to the arena. Like 15 seconds, it's like, I suppose.
And then in this game, too, it's so like cracky thinking you're like, oh man. You're like, oh, okay, you got a W. And then you're like, I can play one more. I can get from one. Or then you lose and you're like, I can't leave it a loss. Like,
well, I mean, we won a couple of matches, but I also lost a bunch. Some of the times they'd like throw me in a match and it's like, you have 15 seconds left. They won. I'm like, that's great. Totally.
This is fun. Yeah. What do you call it? Who did you like to play at? Did you try everybody or?
Yeah. So the first thing I did was go to the training room, and it's weird because the training room is just you, but if you don't move the controller for a couple of seconds, it kicks you out, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it kicks you out so fast. You're like,
well,
okay.
Why would it kick you out at all? You're playing on your own side, but regardless, I tried out all the characters to see just what their moves are and get a feel for the game and get that going. And I played a couple of them, but the ones I stuck to with most were Roadhog, Bastion, and Sombra. So Bastion, people are probably gonna.
Sombra, Roadhog is really fun, and Bastion's like super annoying. But he has that. He also has that really sad story, man.
I haven't watched that yet. I'm sure people will be like, man, Bastion, you're such a chump. It's like, well, yeah, I just started the game, so. You're basically.
But yeah, you gotta watch the shorts. I do recommend that. Like, even though you like.
I watched the other ones.
So the game has nothing to do with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of just a big giant multiplayer. Yeah. But, you know.
So for people who don't know, or I guess Unoclay, Overwatch is a, first person.
Hold up, Matt. Refer to episode 49. Like, I don't know what number we're at. Like a few weeks ago, I did play it at my friend's house for a few minutes.
Sorry.
And although he only let us like play it for like a minute, and then he wanted to show us how he played it. So it was like
I know what
kind of
like that.
Yeah, totally.
But, anyway, it's first person shooter. You have teams of 6 versus 6. All the characters have like their own character traits and personalities and abilities, so they really mix it up and it's really cool. Bastion's like the robot guy that can turn into a turret and like mow down people, which is kind of cool. Sombra has a bunch of things. She can run while invisible. She can sort of teleport to like a little device she leaves behind and stop other characters from using their abilities, so that's pretty cool. And her Uzi weapon is pretty good. And then Roadhog I really like because his special ability is using this like chain thing. So he pulls a Scorpio where he like throws this chain at another guy and pulls them right to you, and you have a shotgun and you can usually like one hit kill them with it. It's so cool. It's satisfying when you actually land it. Unless you're me, which like misses like 70% of the time. But even though Roadhog is kind of like slow to move and I suck, he's one of my favorite characters to use. Widowmaker's pretty cool, but I didn't get to play as many matches with her.
I just mainly use Reaper and Diva.
Nice. Yeah, I want to try more of them out. I stuck with a couple just so I could like try to get used to them and like figure out how to use them. Because if I just try everyone, then then I'm not going to get good at anything, and then the game would have been over. But yeah, I'm really liking that. I might actually ask for it for Christmas because I don't know, it seems pretty cool. And there's a couple of Wii U games I want, but I don't know. It's weird because I don't really like playing on my computer, but I'm like, well, I got to try Overwatch because it's free and I can't give that up. And then I just played for like 2.5 hours. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine with this. But that's Overwatch. I did get to play a bit of Sun and Moon. Apparently I put a couple hours in. It sure doesn't feel like it. Probably because an hour of that was just choosing a name, and I don't remember if it like recorded that time or not. I'm like, I've spent so much time trying to figure out a name for my rowlet. I'm very meticulous like that. Just to throw that out there. But so far I'm having fun with it. I wish I would see more new Pokemon, even though I know it has a smaller like roster. I'm seeing too many of the same like generic Pokemon we've seen. So like I haven't gotten to the first trial, so make that of what you will. But I understand why they have the Kanto Pokemon in there, or the Gen 1, because the 20th anniversary and all that. So I understand why, in the Alola form, so I understand why they have them in early. But then they put in like the Ruby and Sapphire ones in there, and I'm like, well, we just had a remake of them. Even though I like that generation, I don't really want to see them. Could you put some other ones in there, like, at least to begin with, mix it up a bit? Like, that kind of irks me. I'm sure there'll be more.
Going on. Without Gen 1, I wouldn't know what's going on. So,
well, that's fine. Just non-Ruby Sapphire ones. I'm sure they add more later. It's just a bit of an annoyance to start off the game. It's like, here's Pokemon like you just finished seeing in like the last game we put out. It's like, come on, change it up. But yeah, I don't think I've played enough of it to really like say much about it. I haven't even
understanding of it. Trust me, man. I'm still like I beat the first island on Moon, and I beat the same exact first island on Sun, and I just like I want to play more of it, but it's like it's very long, like the beginning in this game versus other ones. Like in this time, like I feel like the time it takes to beat the first island challenge is as long as 2 badges in an old game. You know what I mean?
Which is okay, but it just takes forever in terms of getting the game started right when it starts, you know?
Yeah.
Like the people that are doing the hard reset to try to get a shiny starter, like they're taking forever.
I didn't think about that.
I saw someone's video and it's like, yeah, it's a 2-minute cutscene. I'm like, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's a 1 in 4,000 chance. Like, that's not gonna happen.
And you know what the other thing is too? Like, look, I think they understand that a lot of people are looking either to pick up 3DSs, or, I mean, there's already a big market, but I think they're trying just to attract that Pokemon Go audience. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, let's reintroduce this game, let's put a big story on it, like, but at the same time, it's like, you gotta know, like, at least 75%, 80% of the people who already had 3DSs or buying these games already know what's up. So it's like, you know, I'm spamming the A and B button, you know. I'm not gonna lie, this game makes me want to talk to NPCs like I did in Red and Blue and Go Hard Gold and Soul Silver. You know, like I'm actually looking out for NPCs.
Yeah, I'm okay with NPC dialogue, but I think there's too much dialogue in the main story. Like, it drags on way too long. Like, I just want to go battle and shit. And here we are with all this dialogue.
And the trainer battle is like, he's not even like a rival. He's like kind of your pal. You know? He's like, hey, what's up, guys? Yo, you want to fight? I want to check if I'm getting a little bit better. I'm like, bro, I'm supposed to hate you. Right?
Yeah, they did the friend rival for a couple of gens, I think. The NPCs are kind of funny. Some of their dialogue is like really sad or really weird. Like, people have posted screenshots. I've posted some screenshots. It's interesting to see because I think it was a couple of years ago that Nintendo got, like, the Treehouse had a shift in how they translate some of the games. And I think you can notice that here, at least I have so far, compared to, like, I don't know, past games that would have come out. So it'll be interesting to see where else it goes, and especially with Team Skull. Since we're talking about Pokemon,
I think they're great. I love Team Skull. They're like my favorite villains. Like they're hilarious, and they're Jet Grind Radio. Like, you know, if you ever played that game, Jet Set or Jet Grind Radio, depending if you're English or you know, American or Canadian or whatever.
Yeah, just their animations are just so overly ridiculous. Yeah. But since we're on the topic of Pokemon, Eli, you reviewed Pokemon.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about Pokemon and what else you've been playing?
Sure. So I think that Sun and Moon are the worst main entries in the Pokemon franchise. Now that I've thought about it more.
Wow.
No, because Black and White exists, so that's all I gotta say.
Now, to be fair, I've aged with Pokemon.
That is true.
About to be 20. So, you know, Black and White maybe isn't as good as I remember it being, just because got this before X and Y. I don't know, I was 13, 14 years old when it came out, probably whatever it was. So, point being that, like, my perception might be a little bit different because of that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same thing with me with Sapphire, and, you know, I was around that age when those came out, because I had Gold and Silver.
Yeah, so I think it's bad, or not bad. I shouldn't say that. I gave the game an 8.5. I think it's great. But relative to other games, there are a lot of reasons. First of all, as Matt said, there just aren't that many new Pokemon, which sucks. People are like, oh, there's 80 new Pokemon, but yeah, like 15 of them are legendaries, 10 of them are starter Pokemon, 10 of them are version exclusives. So by the time you're done with that, there's like
and then
really
forms.
Only like 20 or 15 original, you're saying?
There's really like 20 evolutionary chains that are new, which like isn't great. So that's kind of annoying. There are other factors, like just the story goes slow in terms of the dialogue. Like, I want to be catching Pokemon. I like the new trial system personally. I mean, I like gyms too, but I think the trial system is fine. I think it's interesting. I liked how each one was diverse and different. But I didn't like how linear it made the game, because you're literally just going from one trial to the other, to the next throughout the whole game, because there's so many of them. Which was definitely a gripe of mine. There are, I don't know, it just seemed overall, and because Pokebank doesn't work, it seemed like this new adventure, but because when there's a new adventure, I expect there to be new Pokemon, but because this Pokemon game leans so much on previous Pokemon, which is okay, I wanted to have my previous Pokedex still applicable, so I could see what I still needed, and so it had some sort of sense of continuity, but because it was a restart with the old Pokemon, that really annoyed me. So yeah, I think the graphics and presentation are great. I think overall it was 2 steps forward, but also kind of 1 step back in the way that
How come there's no 3D, Eli?
Okay, so personally, I heard about, you know, the thing about the Switch rumor, for the third game. I heard about that too.
Is that why there's no 3D? I thought it was because X and Y had those slowdowns. Because I mean, this game I experienced some slowdowns on my original 3DS. But when I played my new 3DS, it would not slow down at all.
There are still slowdowns in double battles. But yeah, not in single battles. I think it's because, honestly, they're preparing it for the Switch, which doesn't have 3D. And they it's easier to port, you know, without that feature. Maybe not. Maybe that's not the reason. But that's kind of what I was thinking.
I don't think that would have too much of an effect on it. I think it's just that the 3DS is old and whatever they're doing with the engine or whatnot is just affecting it. Because like Mike said, in X and Y, like you turn the 3D on and the frame rate drops like 50%. So they probably figured, okay, well, why are we going to try to make this game work in 3D when it doesn't really work all that well? Just cut it out, because no one's using 3D much anyway, and then just build the game normally. Because then if you add 3D into it, you have to have like some kind of buffer zone so that prepare the game. Oh, someone might be using 3D at this point. We got to make it so it works in 3D, which means we got to scale things down or whatnot. So, as stupid as this may sound, maybe that's why the trainer, you can now have a trainer in the field, because they don't have to allocate more resources to making it 3D. They can add more stuff, in the background and whatnot.
Maybe, yeah.
Things like that.
I see what you're saying on that.
Yeah. I think that, aside from the 3D, I didn't really use it in X and Y anyway. For me, the biggest, I think, turn off was just the fact that it lacked continuity from the previous games. And, I want to get it in the metagame. I want to get into breeding. I want to get into IVs and all of this stuff. But all of my stuff is in Pokemon Bank. All my shinies are there. All of my, the good Ditto is there. My competitive Pokemon are there. Everything's there. And it's just annoying. I won't even be, I have a complete Pokedex in Alpha Sapphire. I won't be completing this Pokedex until I've transferred everything over, because I just feel like it lacks the continuity right now.
Plus, then you'll get at least half of it done if you transfer them over.
Yeah, well, I'll have almost all of it done. Yeah.
Alright, so Mike, have you been playing anything lately?
Like I said, I'm at the last case for Phoenix Wright 6.
Mike doesn't play games.
Yeah.
That's for sure, because that's not a game. It's like a graphic novel that's boring. Yawn. Objection.
It's amazing. Then I've been, obviously some Oversplotch. And then, I picked up World of Final Fantasy. I still haven't touched it yet, cause I gotta beat Dragon Quest, Builders. But, I don't really know. I mean, Pokemon, I don't have time, because, I've been switching between Pokemon, and I switched between Phoenix Wright. So I'll be like, hey, here's 10 minutes in this, and then 10 minutes in that. And I realize 10 minutes in Pokemon is nothing. So it's I haven't really been progressing anywhere.
So I'm curious. I was curious that you actually got Pokemon Moon. I thought you weren't really into Pokemon that much.
Yeah, I'm not, but I got Moon, and then Billy wanted it, so that was his. So I wanted Sun more, because Moon's lame. If you got Moon, you're not cool. Just play it simple.
Told you, Eli. Gee.
But yeah, friggin'. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not really that big into Pokemon. I got X and Y, with pre-release. I got this. I always expect Pokemon to get better than it is, but it's always kind of the same thing. And I guess nothing will ever live up to Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So, it's alright. Life goes on. But, I gotta give it a shot. I'm a fair guy. Now I'm just waiting for Mario Maker 3DS to go, why am I buying the same game again? But, it's really matter.
Yeah, I'd have to wonder why you would buy it. I'm not one.
Version.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy it just to have it, and I'll be like, and then they'll remake it for the Switch, and I'll be like, look, I spent $160 on the same game.
A game that makes itself.
Yeah.
If you have local friends to play it with, I can see it, but I'm not one to jump on that bandwagon of hating on a game that lacks a feature I want, but really it makes no sense for that game to exist and not have online trading for the levels. It's just insane. I mean, literally, what's the point of it? Make a level so I can play it, myself, the level I made.
Well, I can't make, dude, I said, I can't make, Phil can make some sick levels, dude. I can barely build, the pre-maps they give you, and I just do that, and I maybe add, a cloud, and I go, look, I made this. So I feel good about myself. But,
if your bro's gonna make you some levels, then I can see the reason to have it, I suppose. Otherwise,
I like playing other people's levels, checking stuff out,
But you won't be able to play anybody but your brothers. That's the thing. So as long as he's gonna make you tons of levels.
Oh, you can't play anybody else's, really?
No, it doesn't have, right, guys? Tell me I'm wrong. There's no upload to a server. It's only local play for the 3DS.
No way. So I have to street pass to get new levels? Oh man.
No, I don't even know if you can street pass to get new levels. I think you might only be able to play them if someone directly gives them to you on local play. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Isn't that the big flaw with the 3DS release of it?
That's insanely dumb.
I don't know.
Yeah,
no. I think it was only. I think it's like half true. I forget exactly.
We can look into it. I think that's the case. I think it's like it doesn't have.
I thought it was like more of the fact where you can't play like those online like levels, but you could share like a level. You know what I'm saying? Like an upload. Like it's weird. Like you can't play like the 16 normal levels or expert levels online, but you can download levels. That's what I thought it was like.
Yeah,
you know
I think that's how it works.
According to like the first thing that pops up if you Google it, Reddit says there is absolutely no online for Mario Maker in the 3DS. Like I don't know. I'm not. I know
this game makes no sense. Then why would you buy it?
That's what I was saying. Like I don't think the game supports. It was the first thing I thought. This is insane. Why are you making it? And I remember a lot of people saying that, and then I haven't been paying attention since then because I was like, yeah, this game would be a perfect fit for a 3DS, like to carry around and make levels when I'm on the go and stuff like that, you know. And even though I kind of burned out on doing it, I did put like 30, 40 hours into the version on Wii U. And then I was like, well, maybe it'd be time for me to get back into it with this, you know, but, according to Wired, a fairly reputable, website, they're saying you cannot share your creations online. Bummer. That's literally like the first line of the review. Like, you know.
Okay, well, I mean, like I said, like that kind of doesn't make sense. I mean, it's crazy talk, really. Like, you're right. But like, I'm not a builder also, so I like to play other people's stuff. So that's like why I enjoy the game. And that's what I thought the 3DS would be like. You know, like, I do enjoy, I enjoyed New Super Mario Brothers on the 3DS, you know? And so I think maybe the controls would be pretty clean, like, you know? So, cause you can only play with the gamepad, really. I don't play with a Pro controller because I don't own one. But,
it says you'll be able to load up an automatically generated, always changing list of different levels that were created by players on the Wii U version. So there will be like a feed for like new stuff in the game. So that's pretty cool. That, I mean, you know, as long as they curate that and they don't just like allow it to be like all auto run levels and stuff like that, you know, only. So
still, it's a Band-Aid solution. But, anyway, I was going to say, Eli, Unoclay, what have you been up to? Besides huffing paint, obviously.
Huffing paint.
Wait, before Clay goes in, I saw you guys were talking about Mighty Azure, Mega Man, and Mega Man X. Now, Clay, you're crazy for not liking Mega Man X. That's a great Nintendo series. But X5 is the best on PlayStation 1. Mega Man Originals are really fun. I'm not a big fan of Azure Gunvolt. I was at the end of the first game. I got the second game, and I never really played it. Like, I just wasn't a big fan of them. Like, maybe I'll get into them later. They're cheap, but just try out the demo. Maybe you'd like it, but I wasn't a big fan. And if you don't like X, you won't like it at all, in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for the listeners, we were chatting before the podcast, and it was kind of me saying how, you know, with the holiday coming up, Thanksgiving holiday here in America, I was looking for games to download on my 3DS. Matt had said that Azure Striker Gunvolt game is one that looks okay, and that's what it was compared by one of us to Mega Man X, which I'm not a big fan of. But you know, just a personal thing. I don't think the game is broken. It's just not my style. I don't like the art style compared to like the old Mega Mans really, but thanks. Yeah, I'll think about it. I didn't know there was a demo for it, so I'll check it out. I don't know if I'm going to buy anything. I do have a couple games I didn't really get my money's worth out of yet on my 3DS, and I have my old Genesis at my parents' house. So even though I kind of hate Genesis, it's like when I'm at my parents' house, it's like an excuse to like force myself to play it. So I'll be sitting there like playing the New Adventures of Pac-Man, like one of the worst games ever, being like, why am I doing this, you know, over Thanksgiving? But it'll be fun in its own weird way.
So yeah, what have you been? Yeah, what have you been playing?
Currently, what I've been playing, other things I've mentioned already. This weekend, 2 of my gaming buddies were over, and how to explain? My wife every December for our friends has what she calls the cookie party, and it started out as like a chick party where they all make cookies and trade them, but then like all the dudes that are like attached to the chicks, like aka my friends, like want to come over too, but they don't want to bake cookies. So we decided like last year we were gonna have a Street Fighter 2 tournament, which was hilarious because one of our friends was talking a lot of smack like a ton, the kind of thing that like you just should not do when you've never faced other people. And he's like saying how he was like tournament level back in the day and all this stuff. And then just got his ass like dragged all over the floor by my other friends. They were just like, we thought you're tournament level, bro. So what's up with that? So in preparation for this year's cookie party, long way around to the point of the story, me and my friends were testing out games that we were thinking should be the featured game for this year's holiday cookie exchange. And we settled on GoldenEye 007 on N64, which
great game.
Great game. It's a blurry mess these days when you try to play it even with an upscaler. But it's playable. It's playable. It's a classic for people of my generation. It was for many people. If you didn't play Doom or Quake on like a PC or something, GoldenEye Nintendo 64 was literally the first person shooter a lot of people ever played, period. End of sentence. And it was a huge obsession for a lot of people. If you're not familiar with it, you can watch videos of it. It had a reboot port, whatever you want to call it, onto the Wii U, an HD version, which is pretty much the same game, with online, not supported anymore since, I said Wii U, I think I meant the Wii. GoldenEye on 64, it's pretty blurry, very blurry modern standards. It was, kind of a proto, 4-player on the same screen, 4-player, like shooter. And so it's hilarious because you're all trying to look at each other's screens and all that kind of stuff, like while you're running around in the maze, just shooting at each other.
Well, dude, I was gonna say the other thing too was, I mean, even though it was like the first multiplayer, like for me also, like you said, it was my first RPG, but it also had a lot of fun cheat codes to like make the game, like the paintball, the big head thing.
Yeah.
Like, like the game was like, even though it was an FPS, there was like a lot of like funny, elements to the game that were added to it rather than just like straight up James Bond and, laser watches and shit. And the maps were really well made. Some of them are really long and big and deep, and then you could hide in toilets and stuff. So,
Yeah, he's absolutely right. Like I was obsessed to the point of insanity with that game, and I have like every cheat unlocked. I beat the whole game on like the hardest difficulty. Like I have all my save files are still intact on the cartridge even. And this is a 20-year-old game, and it's funny to go back. And I was so paranoid about losing my save file that like my precious save file that I copied it to every slot on the game. And it's like the same save file that I was like, just in case one fails, cause it's got every cheat, which like the paintball and the big head mode are two of the best. And that stuff was revolutionary to put it in context. If you're only used to playing Call of Duty and modern shooters, like it's like, yeah, of course there's like mods, but back then this was like your head practically exploded when you found out like once you finished the game, you could then turn on big head mode, and it was, they don't even call it big head mode, it's called
DK head.
Yeah. DK mode.
Yeah, you have like long arms and you got like big head and it's really funny looking, and all that stuff. So, but we were playing a bunch of that. We were kind of getting wasted, all night. We were up till like 3 a.m, like playing that. And we were playing some original Smash on there, cause only one out of my friends is kind of good at the original Smash. So we were having a hilarious time getting our asses kicked by our one friend who can control the original Smash fairly decently and stuff on there. And that's, if anything, it's kind of funny. Like original Smash looks even worse than GoldenEye does on a modern television. And I have like an upscaler. It's kind of a shitty upscaler to like try and clean it up. So it's passable. You can play it, but it's painful on the eyes. It really is. So that's what I was playing this weekend mostly. I played a little bit of games I've mentioned already on more modern systems, but it was a little bit of a return to a system I don't play a lot on my N64 because it's just a great multiplayer system. As long as you can deal with the way the graphics look these days. And all my friends that'll be here for that party I was mentioning, they're all like the age where we all really fondly remember playing Mario Kart, and that was pretty much the runner up in my mind. I was like, it's either Mario Kart or GoldenEye. So I think we're going to go with GoldenEye and see how it goes. It's going to be funny because everybody picks up the controller and you all instantly forget how to control that game, and you're running around and you're pointing your gun at the ceiling and you're like, how the fuck do I get the gun to aim at the floor? What the hell? It's like inverted access and you can't change it, like not in the multiplayer anyway, and you can't change your controls, customize them adequately in the multiplayer. So you really have to like kind of deal with the game as it is, warts and all. So it'll be fun. I'll report back on that at the end of December because there'll probably be a pretty messy drunken night of a lot of people swearing and throwing controllers like the old days. So it'll be cool. So, and eating cookies, while we're doing it. So
can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, it'll be really messy controllers, but it is my N64. I don't really care. So it'll be like disgusting. It'll be, a lot of cleaning the next day.
Yeah. So. I do want to say one thing before we move on. One takeaway from Pokemon is apparently the developers love malasadas, because if you click on any of the televisions, that's all they talk about. Is the Hawaiian pastry. It's gonna be it's this pastry with like custard in it. I wonder if the sales of that are gonna go up like what the heck at the end of Avengers, whatever you're eating. I forget, some meat thing.
Oh, they're eating shawarma.
Yeah, shawarma. The sales like skyrocketed. I wonder if that'll happen with Pokemon and malasadas.
I didn't know that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, I have another thing to say on Pokemon. First of all, I don't know if you guys saw the news, but apparently, according to GameStop, Pokemon Sun and Moon are the best performing games of 2016 already, and they have pre-sold more copies than any other game in the last 5 years at GameStop. So, huge success story. I think that the rumor about it being on Switch is definitely a great thing. And then the other thing I want to point out about Pokemon is my experience hunting for shinies. Can't speak. I tweeted about that earlier today.
Yeah.
Matt, you saw that, right?
Yeah.
So, now Clay, Uno, I don't know if you know that, Pokemon, there are shiny versions, they're really rare, and it's like a 1 in 4,000 chance to get one. But there are strategies you can employ that increase your chances, and in Sun and Moon, there's this new game mechanic where a Pokemon that you're battling will call in another Pokemon, and that Pokemon has a 1 in 500 chance of being a shiny instead of a 1 in 4,000. So, I decided that I'm going to test this out, and there's one Pokemon here called Mudbray. It's a new Pokemon. I want it's a shiny. And I can report back to you that after 6 hours of doing this, I have yet to get a shiny.
Oh my gosh. I would not have spent that much time.
No, but I do want to
What would you say your rate of attempt is? Like, how many attempts would that 6 hours include in your mind?
I don't know. I've got to be past 300 by this time.
Have you stopped?
No, I'm doing it now. It's just too much.
I figured.
So that's the thing. I do want to preempt that by saying that, like, I haven't just been sitting all day doing this. It's more like, all right, I'm turning on this YouTube video, and while I'm watching it, I am doing this. Or like, I have to watch this thing for class, and while I'm watching that, I am, pressing this button. Or I'm podcasting right now, but I'm also beating the fuck out of all of these, all these mud breaks.
Just shows how much time you put into it.
Is it possible, like, just not knowing the mechanics of the game, what I would be worried about when you get into such a robotic, like, activity is what you're doing. Is it possible that when you actually get it, you'll accidentally delete it or click
absolutely.
Or whatever?
Absolutely. It is very possible that on accident I will be so robotic that I'll miss it and kill it on accident. That is absolutely a concern.
Yeah, that's usually the consequence of things like that, where you're like doing it so much, then when it finally happens, you're just like, no! Like your finger presses the button before you're ready, before your brain catches up, and you're just like, oh my god, like,
what did I do?
Yeah, I wish you luck there, bro.
You gotta set up one of those automatic shiny hunting systems.
Yeah, because I have the wherewithal to figure out how to do that.
I was just thinking the same.
You spend 6 hours trying to find it, you might as well spend the 6 hours making it.
No, I was just going to say, like, I was thinking the same thing for concert tickets. You guys can feel free to use this, but like a lot of my life is spent trying to get pretty hard concert tickets for different things. Mm-hmm. And I figured out a long time ago, I basically made an automation for my computer that you can lay your phones next to when you're on the online system for Ticketmaster, and you can like loop it, and you're farming tickets basically with your phone. It's hard to explain more succinctly than that. But it's the same idea. It's like farming shinies. It's like you're farming like slots in the Ticketmaster Lotto. Like, it's harder to explain than that. But given that you have to press buttons, I think you'd need like a robotic arm or something like that and a camera.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Has anyone actually done something like this that you're describing? Is that real?
Someone made some device where I think the screen flashes at a certain point to denote a shiny, and then his camera will like pick it up and then like make a noise to make a notification like, hey, this thing happened, there's a shiny Pokemon here, come get it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I have to Google that and look into that, because I love stuff like that. Like, the key would be like that you would have, man, I can't even get my head around it, like that, how you would stop the automation. Like, writing the program or the script for it isn't that bad. It's just like getting the actual hardware to cooperate with you, like the camera and the robotic arm to press the button or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
Soon we won't need to play games at all, guys. Like, we can just have our robots do it for us.
So, while on the subject of Pokemon, there was a rumor not a rumor, there's a thing going around saying people had their games glitched if they saved inside of a Pokemon Center. Apparently it's not really true. It's only if you use some hacking device like Pokemon Hex or whatever, so don't worry about losing your save file. It's only if you cheat. You filthy cheater.
Oh crap, I gotta cover this up. The shiny... I hacked it so that the shiny would take 10 hours instead of 20 hours to get.
Yeah. But yeah, since we're talking about Pokemon now, we might as well go into the Pokemon Stars thing. So basically, there's a rumor saying there's a third version of the newest Pokemon games, but for the Switch. It doesn't say if it's going to be a launch title or whatever. Actually, no, Lord Dale said it'll be like 2017 or end of 2017 or something like that. Whatever, it's not going to be a launch title, but apparently it's coming later. Thoughts? Actually, before thoughts, I was going to say this kind of fits in with the rumor that Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon were going to come in like the 6 months of the Switch launch, which we heard this a couple of months ago, and Mario is probably going to be there in the first half, and probably Zelda, because that's basically at the end, so this kind of fits in. Any thoughts?
Let me ask a question to set you guys up to talk about it. Like, so being the non-Pokemon guy here, for anyone who's new, like, so I'm aware that, like, usually the pattern for Pokemon games seems to be there's 2 core entries, and then they do something cute where they blend the titles, where it's like red and blue, and then you have green or yellow or whatever, and then, whatever, black and white, and then you have gray or whatever it is. I don't even know, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, well, actually, the last 2 cycles, first of all, black, white, there was no gray, there was black 2 and white 2, and then,
you just had to do that to him. You couldn't let him believe. He had to choose the one.
With the program, Clay. This isn't 2005, okay? It's freaking 2016.
I'm behind. I gotta play red yet. I gotta get on red. Get started.
You literally chose the one generation that didn't have, like, the third version.
Well, okay, so every other one we got it. So, like, this one, I saw the rumor that it was called Stars. Mm-hmm. Explain to an outsider what's the deal when they combine them? Like, what do you get for the third game? Like, what's different or whatever? Like, why would you buy a combination of the 2 games you already played the shit out of?
They usually add more content. It sounds like Eli's going to go into more depth, so I'll let him take the reins.
Oh, okay. So usually, like, first of all, they're version exclusive Pokemon. There are Pokemon that are only in one version, Pokemon that are only in the other version. And usually the third version or whatever has all the Pokemon from both games. That's first of all. Second of all, there are sometimes new areas. Now, those areas definitely differ. Like in Platinum, which is the 4th generation third game added, there was like just a whole new, like a new area in the game. And so for a lot of people that may have not been worth it because the rest of the game was the same other than this new section. Personally, my favorite, and I don't know, Matt, maybe you're the same, my favorite third entry has definitely got to be Emerald, just because it added the whole battle frontier. And what that was is that it wasn't just a new area, but it was like a lot of new, like a substantial amount of new content in the end game that I think was really important and kind of what sold the game for me and what really made it special for me, where I spent a lot of time. And yeah, I mean, I didn't play Black 2 and White 2, so that's a confession of me. So I don't really know what that game added. What do you think, Matt?
To be quite honest, I never really jumped into the third versions because I figured it's not going to offer enough for me to care. Like, it's still the same main Pokemon, it's still mostly the same, so I'm like, I'm not going to spend money on basically something I have already. I did play Platinum, but I don't really remember what the difference was.
It was just the Giratina area was new.
Okay.
If you remember, it was like the anti-gravity whatever place.
Oh, okay, yeah, that weird zone.
Yeah.
Matt's answer, like, is funny because it kind of gets to what I think when I hear about it, that I think, like, my outsider reaction is, like, I'm trying to think of something that would be equivalent, like two of my favorite, one of my favorite series or something like that. If Metroid Prime and Metroid, like, a side-scrolling Metroid came out together, and then they made a third one where they blended them. I'm like, I would probably be like, I don't think I have it in me to play a third version of the same thing I've kind of already played. I'd kind of, I'd have to wait a while at the very least.
Well, that's their strategy. So usually what happens is people don't buy both at the beginning. They'll buy one. And then the second, the third version will come out, which for many people will be their second. Or for some people it will be their first. Some people didn't buy the original. They wait for the third one. Which is fine. I think in this case, just the biggest benefit is that it's going to be on the Nintendo Switch. And you look at Pokemon Moon, and Sun and Moon would ship 10 million units at launch and is the best pre-ordered game in the last 5 years for GameStop and their most successful game this year so far. And you look at that and you're like, all right, well, we've got, the follow-up to the Wii U, the worst system of all time for us, other than, like, Virtual Boy. People like...
correct you. I was just like, come on, Eli.
Yeah. People like Pokemon, okay? So, maybe we put that on. And with Pokemon Bank now, it's super easy to transfer your Pokemon over. At least it will be in January once they bring functionality over. And that will really encourage people to make the move, I think. Pokemon sells systems. Monster Hunter sells systems. Like, these are games that people buy a system for.
Yeah.
For sure. That's well put. That's well put. And when you point out that maybe people don't play both, like, I guess it gets to another question. I don't want you guys to go on about Pokemon for the entire podcast here, but, like, I mean, I guess it gets to, that does lead to another question for me, that it's like, well, how do you guys decide which one you play, the Sun and the Moon? Like, are you just like, I like Moons better, and you're like, I like Suns better, and, like, you pick, or is there, like, a reason?
To start off, what I mean? There's a legendary Pokemon on the box, and that's the one you get in the game. So that's one of the reasons. But other than that, it's usually just what Pokemon are exclusive to your version. And obviously there's online trading and whatnot, so you could still trade for the other ones anyway. But I guess if you want like a specific Pokemon when you play the game rather than having to trade for it, that would be a reason. It's mainly the version exclusive and the one on the box.
I mean, I ran a Twitter poll. That's how I decided. And there were like 45 people that voted, and they told me to play Suns, so that's the one I played.
So, like, but you can still get the exclusives by trading later on. Like, you're going to be you're not going to have to go pay to, like, get other big one or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I don't really understand. Like, when you guys decide, or if you have to play both, because, like, with
no, you don't.
No, there's not that much of a difference.
That's one of the reasons I'm okay with there being two versions. Is it kind of encourages you to be cooperative and either get online and trade or have a friend to trade with. I just have so many excellent memories from elementary and middle school just with my friends who played Pokemon. Back in the GBA days, we'd literally have a link cable to connect. We'd have the splitters, so we'd have like 8 people connected on this cable. And that's definitely like something that like I have very fond memories of. And so I'm okay with the 2-version split, 3-version split. I don't think very many people buy both versions anyways.
For sure. That's cool.
I do want to mention one last thing before we move on is a couple of modders like went into the game and looked at the models for the Pokemon, and they actually have a lot of polygons. So for people thinking like, oh man, how are they gonna have to like remake this 3DS game for Switch, and are they really going to bother with that or whatever? Apparently, don't hold me to this entirely accountable to this, but I saw a modder on Reddit say one of the Pokemon had as many polygons as lightning from Final Fantasy 13. So they definitely made this game. It seems like they made this game in mind that they were going to port it to Switch. I think. And it's not...
I don't agree. No, I don't agree.
Well, you're wrong.
Well, no, because okay.
It's not unusual for developers to make like better models than the game can handle and then like downscale it. Like they did that with Resident Evil, whatever the 3DS one was.
Revelation?
Yeah, they did that with that one. They made better
console.
models. They downgraded it for the 3DS, and then they made like the HD version for consoles. So I think that's what they're probably doing with this. So yeah. Mike, you're gonna say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say the only thing is though, like, wouldn't it be more optimal to make like a actual 3DS? Like, I mean, look, I get it's gonna be a portable and a handheld thing, but the thing is though, like, I just don't agree, like, seeing this game on the Switch. Like, that would piss me off, honestly.
Why? It's their new handheld system.
Yeah, but I don't want this old crappy 3DS Pokemon game on my Switch. Like, why can't I get a new 3DS game? Like a new 3D Pokemon game, actually, instead of...
Well, because, I mean, this is scheduled to come out like
yeah.
summer. Yeah, they don't have time for that.
Yeah, they're not...
Yeah, that's bull, though.
Like, why can't they make another 4-year game in 1 year? Come on, man.
Alright, like, I don't want this crappy game, Pokemon, whatever they're gonna call it, Rising Sun or some shit, you know? Like...
It's actually Pokemon Stars, okay? Let's get this thing right.
It's so dumb, though. Like, I just don't agree. I don't agree. I think it's a terrible idea.
I mean, it's free money. It's free money. You're not going to lose any money from this.
Plus, it'll be nice to see the HD.
I'm not buying it. I'll tell you that. And I buy everything. I'm not buying it.
I buy everything.
He's gonna buy three. He'll buy 3 copies of Super Mario Maker, but he's not gonna buy another version of Pokemon.
Yeah,
that's actually
right.
better.
I won't buy that.
The fact that it'll be
like Pokemon's actually good.
He's got you there. The fact that it'll be in HD, I think, will be enough of a difference for people to possibly double.
It's not gonna be HD. It's gonna be the same exact game. It's gonna be
I don't know.
Yeah, but it looks better.
I think this is a good place to shift discussion to just the fact of other ports that have been announced in the last week.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's move on from Pokemon. We've spent too much time on it.
Yeah, because
when does Yoshi's Woolly World 3DS come out?
Who cares? It looks like garbage on the 3DS.
Yeah, but it has like Poochie levels.
Wait a second. You're complaining that there's going to be a better looking version of Pokemon, but you want to have a lesser, an inferior version of Wii U games.
And
Your head's in the wrong place, Mike.
I love how Mike says it, like all like kind of like sheepishly. He's like, yeah, but it's got Poochie levels.
Yeah, it's got Poochie levels, bro. Alright, like I don't want these shitty Pokemon. Yo, look, we made Pikachu's voice the anime voice actor one. Like, I don't give a shit. I ain't paying another $80,000 for that. Alright, like, think you could trick me with that bullshit.
Alright. Let's move on from Pokemon. Another thing, Nintendo announced this week. I was gonna say this year. Jeez. They announced the release date and price for Super Mario Run, which is their Mario smartphone game. It is. So
it's not bad.
Hold on. It's going to be when's it? It's launching December 15th, which is a poor date because it comes on the same day as the new Star Wars movie. Which it's a weird date. It's going to cost.
Star Wars movie? Are you calling that Rogue thing a Star Wars movie?
It's technically a Star Wars movie.
Kids these days. Star Wars ended with Part 6, and that's it. We're not acknowledging anything else. There's including. No, I'm not going to go off on that tangent. No, okay. Sorry.
Not now. We're too late in the podcast. And it's apparently going to be $10 American. I think it's a little bit too much, but I know Eli's thoughts, but what are the rest of your thoughts?
For what, Mario Run? I'm gonna get it, but I mean...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. The problem is, I have an Android, so fuck you, Apple. And let me know when you're willing to come into the 21st century of Android Master Race, and then I'll be willing to pick up your game.
I thought we only had one hipster on this podcast. What is this?
I really want it. Okay, I genuinely want to play Super Mario Run. I think it's going to be a good game, okay? I think the level design like Nintendo makes good levels. They make fun games. I have a lot of faith in the game, and I'm hoping it'll come to Switch too, because I'll just buy it on the Switch instead of the phone then, and I'll play it there.
Why would it come on the Switch? That would be really.
It's
angry.
A mobile
that
platform.
That would make me angry. It's not a Mario platform. It's some bullshit ass. I can't play games.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it came there.
Bull.
I thought for a while. When they announced that Pokemon game before, for a while I thought it was Pokemon Go, but it's probably obviously not that.
If Pokemon Go would come to it, then I would have to I'd be very angry. I'd be like, now the system would become a legitimate scam. All right, I'd be like, I can't I'd be like, yo, Nintendo, they'll be the worst. All right, yeah, mobile games on my Nintendo system. What's next? Animal Crossing.
I actually forgot Unoclay doesn't have a smart device, so he's just sitting in the corner okay.
I'm gonna out hipster you all. I'm not even gonna get a phone that could possibly play it. That's how much I don't want it. Yeah, I'm not joining that party. That's it. I don't know. What do you got? Does the game look any good? I'm not even watching stuff for it. I'm like, endless runner on a.
Yeah, it does. It's just Mario, except you tap your finger and then you think you have the skills of a speedrunner, and you're like, bro, look how good I am. And I'm like, bro, you just touched the screen, all right? You plebe.
Mike pretty much summed it up why I'm not really interested.
You plebe. I love it. That's pretty.
It's pleb.
Pretty
get it right, Mike. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know.
It's plebeian though. All right?
Yeah, it's plebeians.
Right?
Yeah, he's right. It's plebeians. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. As long as they take all that money, they take all that money they're making on Pokemon Go and Mario Run, and funnel it into stuff I want to play. I don't care.
And imagine how much money they'll make on Mario, because they get all that. They only got I think 13% they said of Pokemon revenue.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get 70-80% of Mario revenue.
Right.
Money.
Sure.
As long as they turn that money around and aim it at stuff I care about and don't,
I don't know, like Super Mario 64. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh, you mean like Super Mario Run 2 and 3 and 4?
So it's
that sounds like something Eli would play.
God. I just gave poor Uno a heart attack. You could hear it.
I was getting happy because I was thinking, yeah, I get my HD port of Mario Sunshine finally, and then you're like,
yeah, that
Mario
game is trash. How dare you?
No, I was trying to get Mike to say something.
All right, what do you want to clean the walls and play a mediocre 3D platformer?
Well, I mean, he is painting the walls.
Everyone knows. No, I'm gonna have to go on this tangent because Clay did it. All right, because guess what? The only levels people like in Sunshine are the bonus levels when he has no flood and it requires 3D platforming skills. Otherwise, you're playing a shit ass level where Yoshi dies from H2O.
I did hear a rumor on that front. They said it might be a double game pack in a Galaxy 2 and Mario Sunshine HD collection. And they were calling it
I can't even make words right now. How mad I am. That would ever suffice. Right? Oh god.
So one more thing.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, let's bundle Pokemon Go and Mario Run together for $65. Oh yeah, I'll buy that because I'm a sucker. All right.
Hey, Mike.
That's a good idea. If Nintendo's listening, you just gave them a good idea. They're like, wait a second.
Yeah, wait, we can bundle both things, and this will come with more Pokeballs. Oh yeah, this is great. I'm like, this game blows. All right, I'm gonna buy it because I'm a sucker, but I wouldn't buy that trash. I'm not terrible. I'm not inhumane.
Mike.
Man, I hate mobile.
3 copies of Mario Maker. Your comment is invalid.
Moving on. Mario Maker at least has Mario elements. Right?
Dude, Mario Maker's good. See, I got to ping pong back and forth then. It's then I got to join Mike's team and be like, wait a second, Mario Maker is good.
That's a good game. Okay, you get to play freaking extra levels. The games always suck when you have to play Jimmy's 2 Goomba level, or you're like, figure out which door is the right door.
The only thing they could have made Mario Maker better if they would have put a Sunshine creation mode in it. Wouldn't you think?
No, that would have probably made the game maybe a 3 out of 10. If they did that, they would have lost points. Okay, you know what the Switch should do? They're gonna make Super Mario 3D Maker. All right, even though that's completely impossible. But
All right, we gotta move on.
They'll do it.
I just wanted to add to that.
No, after that, then they'll cease and desist everyone. after each level.
I just want to add that they said there's going to be 24 levels in Super Mario Run, so I don't know if that really changes anyone's perspective on the fact that it's $10.
I think it's 15.
You pay $60 for 40 Mario levels on console. It's
40. Don't you get like 60 to 80?
Okay, even then, the math checks out.
I don't know. I'm not really a fan of auto running, and I'm really sick of the new Super Mario Brothers look. So just seeing that again is like I'll pass.
I will, Matt. I mean, the thing I'll say is like I get it. Like endless runners suck in most of the time, and auto runners and this and that. But I think the things that make me put faith in it, and this is coming from someone who doesn't play mobile games that aren't published by Nintendo, is that I think the level design will be there, and it's not an endless runner. You know, the levels are clearly defined, so they put thought into it. You know, they know that they've put rules down, which are, you know, that it's an auto runner, and then I think they're going to have a lot of creativity and work within the confines of these rules. You know, I have faith in the physics system of the wall jumping, of this and that and the other, that it's going to be a solidly level developed game because that's who Nintendo is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be that incredibly deep as a console game. It doesn't really need to be that. I think it'll be a solid, fun game. I think it'll be worth $10. I just wish it came to Android.
Yeah, that's a fair argument. I mean, it'll be free, so I'll at least check out the free version.
Remember Rayman Legends had one, and it was pretty like fun. Like I didn't download it because I'm not.
Yeah, it got good reviews.
It also had like 4 times more levels.
I played on someone else's phone. I thought it was pretty good, but I was like, I would never download it because then my rep would go down and my street cred. So I was like.
But Mike, that means you have to have street cred.
Oh.
Oh, snap.
Okay, we got to move on from that. Well, I meant from topic, but I'll try to go through these quickly. Zelda is getting an escape room, which is really cool. If no one's aware of this, basically, well, there's apparently 2 types of escape rooms, which I wasn't aware of. One is you're in a room.
Escape room? I don't get it.
So the one obvious one is that you have to escape. So you fall. You're given some level of instructions, and you have to, you know, complete puzzles and.
Is this a real life thing or a game?
Yeah, no, it's a real life thing. Like you go to a place and there's a bunch of rooms set up. Some of them are themed. Like one was Resident Evil themed. Basically, you solve puzzles and have to find a way to escape, like the actual room, and go into a bunch of different rooms. Apparently, this one is more puzzle focused, so you're not really going into other rooms and noticing things, but you are solving puzzles at least at the table and whatnot. So it's only going to be in the U.S. so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to other countries, just like the whatchamacallit, the Zelda orchestras and things like that. But I don't know, it sounds really cool. I only heard of this like a couple of weeks ago on another podcast, so now I'm hoping it comes over here because I'd like to try one, at the very least.
Guys, I got the shiny. It just popped up. Holy fuck. Guys.
Yeah, okay. Liar.
You're full of it.
Holy fuck.
Screenshot or Nans. Screenshot or
nudes are not real.
Oh my god. You guys will see it.
Yeah,
oh my god, guys.
Via Photoshop. Not happening.
Now, problem is I'm too afraid to actually use a move because he'll like die. So I gotta just try to catch him at full health.
Catch him full health if you do it.
What level is he at and what level are you at?
Okay, he's at level 26 and I'm at level 67.
He's trolling. You didn't get a shiny live on the podcast. You're trolling us. I don't buy it. You just told me how hard it is. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, I've been working at it for 6 hours, man.
He's screwing with us. I want a screenshot right now.
I got it. Guys, I got it. Nice. I'll show you all. Woo!
Breaking news on the podcast. Shinies only take 6 hours to get.
Well, the thing is that, it's going to vary widely. It's like a 1 in 512 chance. So, like, I got to, like, catch 300. That was probably the 350th encounters, so that was lucky. You know, it could have been like 800 if I was unlucky. So I'll take it.
Dude, congratulations, man. Is it what I'm trying to think of, like, what's the appropriate thing to say when someone catches a sweet Pokemon? Like, is it hairy? Or like, I don't even know.
Hairy?
Is it cute?
Okay, I'll tweet it. Guys, my Twitter proof. Search my Twitter.
Oh man, it's got to be the episode image, man. All right, that's pretty cool. We never had a game to break.
Get on the Twitter, see if it's real.
Wow. Well, congratulations, man. That's great. This is kind of a good bookend of the episode. Like, you catch the Pokemon live on air, trying for. So
still got some news though.
Yeah, okay, let's get through this news. We still got Lego City Undercover.
Yeah, now that you brought that up.
Eli's shiny.
Yeah, now that you brought that up. Yeah, Lego City Undercover, which was previously a Wii U exclusive, is now coming to Switch and a bunch of other consoles, Xbox One and PS4. So yeah, that's interesting. Basically, every Wii U exclusive ever is getting ported.
Hey, we're still waiting on Bayonetta and Wonderful 101 and Donkey Kong Country, and there's a lot of games, but I hope they come over. You know, I'd happily play them again, a lot of them. Especially bring achievements. Put achievements, I'll play all those games.
Wait, which Donkey Kong Country are we talking about?
What?
Tropical Freeze.
What are you talking about?
Tell you what, bring those games over, Nintendo, with achievements, I'll buy every one of them and play them again.
Is this... I'm curious, is this not going to have some sort of... Like, is this even going to be effective? Like, if the Wii U, or if these games didn't sell people on the Wii U, is it really going to sell them on the Switch?
I think it's not going to sell them on the Switch, but it's an opportunity, because I think it's fair to say the Switch is going to do better than the Wii U.
Yeah.
And if you're buying...
No. Eli, well, before you get into your amazing tangent, I'm on Eli's side. I agree, because the sales on the Wii U are so small, but Nintendo games, like, they can easily port these over, and I think people would buy them.
Yeah. So I don't think Bayonetta 2 is going to sell any Switches, but if you buy the Switch, and you've already, you bought it for Zelda and Pokemon and Pikmin, all these big hitters, that's why you bought it, and then you see there's, Bayonetta 2, and you're like, man, I heard Bayonetta 2 was really good on the Wii U, but I didn't have a Wii U, because it was a, stocky. You'll go out and you might buy this game. So it's not necessarily to sell a system, I don't think. But, they make all their money off of software. Mm-hmm. And the reason why a lot of Wii U games failed was because the software wasn't there to move the units, not necessarily and vice versa. So, if you've got the Switch in the hands of 50 million people, that's my estimate. I think it'll sell about 50 million units.
Yeah.
So if you sell that many Switches, that's already 5 times the install base of the Wii U almost. And, people will be like, I heard this game was good. I heard Wonderful 101 was good. Bayonetta was good. Lego City was good. I'm going to pick that up too.
Well, no. You made a mistake. W101 is, straight up dog shit. But, yeah, other games.
Come on. This guy just hates Platinum.
Yeah. I'm on the fence with if it will work or if it will not, because some people might just be like, well, you're just rehashing the same games. Or it could be like, hey, they have all these games at the same time now. This will, I don't know, there's more of an interest to buy it versus the Wii U. It was like one of those games came out like once a year, and it was spread out so far that people would wait for a game, and then it's like they just lost interest over time. But moving on, now for some rumors. Apparently, this is the weirdest one. There's a rumor that Ubisoft is making a Mario and Rabbids RPG for the Switch.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. I was like, no way. Like, I think isn't it gonna be Ubisoft or Rabbids developed guys, anyway?
I don't know, but it's gonna be like
Mario RPG developed guys, like Intelligent Systems.
No, it's probably Ubisoft, I would assume.
Yeah. That means Mario might look really weird.
I'm really excited for this. I don't know. I've started getting excited about all this Nintendo stuff again. Sorry to keep interrupting, but like honestly, I'm starting to get really hyped for the Switch, and I'm willing to invest my time in these games, and I'm getting genuinely excited about them. Like even though it sounds weird, like I'm ready for it.
Well, it sounds like so weird enough that it would be interesting. Like this is such a random idea, and it's like that kind of makes me believe that it's valid, because who's going to make up a random rumor about like the most unlikely thing to happen?
Yeah, like
no one would trust it, right?
But of all time. It's like, no, I still can't picture it. It's just weird.
I don't know. Just imagine the regular type of, Mario. Was it Mario and Rabbids? What was it?
Yeah, there's no real
So imagine like
Rabbids game. Like I like Rayman, but I don't care about Rabbids at all. It's like, like I don't get it. Like Mario and like it makes no sense. The more I keep thinking about it, man, like.
I don't know. Just think about a regular Mario game, and then they're going to slip in Rabbids characters.
Yeah, Rayman and Mario teaming up in a platform would make more sense. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe. Well, not Rayman, but the Rabbids, I think, is what they're doing. Not Rayman.
Yeah. No, I'm saying though, Rayman and Rabbids would make more sense.
Maybe.
Personally, I just think Ubisoft is trying to get an excuse so they can get Rayman and Smash.
Yeah, obviously. If we get
that'd be pretty funny. Game. They're like, let's make this game. Also, can you put Rayman and Smash for us, please? Michelle Ancel is just like begging Ubisoft to make it happen. Yeah, apparently it's supposed to be similar to like a Fire Emblem game, like how that works. I guess more of a strategy RPG, so that's even weirder. I don't know. I hope it's real, because it's so like absurd that I just want to see these random characters mashed together.
It sounds not likely to me, but I like weird things, so I'd vote for it if you push me to it, even though I'd never play it. But it just sounds too weird. I think it sounds like I take it the opposite of like the argument you guys were making. Like, it's so weird, who would make it up? I'm like, the internet.
Well, to try and back this up, it's coming from Laura Dale again, which has done a bunch of Switch stuff before, so that lends some credibility to it.
Yeah, her and Emily Rogers have been pretty spot on, and I think they're in cahoots with Eurogamer. I think that they're working together.
No, I think their dad works at Nintendo.
Their uncle.
Does. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Emily Rogers is just freaking Iwata in an undercover man. He's like, you guys thought I was gone, did you? I'm just gonna put all these leaks.
And then for once he actually says, "Please understand" to Nintendo.
Yeah.
Instead of the gamers.
And then like he has to hold back on saying that. Yeah, but okay. Before we end it, with the Switch coming out, any series you want to like redone in HD, like a specific game, or do you want like a new take, like a 3D Pokemon adventure? Like how I always want Super Mario 64 done in 3D, or like a new one. You know what I mean? Like, which we might be getting. Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys have like a franchise or a specific game you guys want to be redone for the Switch and like even better, etc.
So interesting that you bring this up, because I forget the name of the group. I think it's Ember Lab, but they released a Majora's Mask like CG short. It's about 4 minutes long, and it's this really amazing CG short, and it got my friend and I talking about remakes and whatnot. And I'd love if they made Ocarina of Time like more realistic like that, rather than like
like an
3DS
Unreal
version.
Engine. You ever seen that? Like, you ever go online on YouTube? There's this guy who remakes all of Ocarina of Time maps in Unreal Engine, and they're amazing, dude. Like, they're like literally amazing. Like, I always wanted Ocarina of Time like remade, like in today's kind of Zelda graphics and style, Yeah. I feel like they could do a lot more with it.
Yeah, because I think it would serve that game a lot, but I don't know. I just always wanted to see it better, but I don't think Nintendo really wants to go that style for the game, so I doubt it happening. Anyone else got any ideas, or should I?
I wasn't kidding. I've been holding off replaying Sunshine because I want an HD version of it. I wasn't kidding about that. That game, I love that game. And it's ironic when Mike says that he likes the levels best where you don't have the jetpack, because those, I love that they switched it up, but they were my least favorite in that particular game. So I'd be looking forward to that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that I'm totally in that camp. Who isn't? I mean, who isn't in the camp of wishing Eternal Darkness would get a proper sequel? So if they could ever get that ship to get moving again and get an Eternal Darkness, like either reboot or I don't want a straight port because I mean I've played the original so many times it's silly. So but Eternal Darkness to have like a proper sequel or like kind of an expanded reboot, I don't even know, something to that degree I would love, if they could get that license up and running again, at Metroid, like I could sit there and list games forever. Anything old that Nintendo hasn't touched in a long time, I'm down with. I don't really want F-Zero, but I'd even be happy for the people that are F-Zero addicts if they did something with F-Zero. And
yeah,
you're gonna start like listing games for the next 2 hours, so we'll keep it there.
Yeah. Yo, Clay, I was gonna say was one thing though, like, do you think any like old Game Boy game could get like revived? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking, like, if a game would have to be remade, like, I know we're mentioning all, like, N64, like, GameCube games. Like, it'd be cool also to see, like, a Game Boy Zelda game.
Like Link's Awakening?
Yeah, like Minish Cap, because that game's amazing. Or Link's Awakening, because everyone is in love with that game. But,
Game Boy is a system I had a lot of love for in its time. I mean, I guess the question I have back to you would be, like, are you imagining, like, literally porting Game Boy games up to the modern?
No. Like, I was thinking, like, you know what they're doing with Dragon Quest, where they're making it, like, 3D, but 2D?
Right. And they're fixing it a little bit.
That. But at the same time, I think Ocarina of Time and Super Mario 64 have way too much, like, and for you, Sunshine, like, you want Sunshine to get remade as, like, a redemption kind of thing?
I just think I loved it, and I would love to see it in better graphics. Like, literally, I'd be fine with a straight port.
I think the game looks pretty fine for the way it looks. Like, I think it looks, like, I mean, I'm one of those guys, like, I think you're the same way. Like, I'm looking at a Super Nintendo game, and I'm like, this looks fine. Or, like, I know you don't like the N64 that much. Right. But when I play Smash on that, I don't think it looks bad at all. Like, I think it looks fine. It doesn't look shitty.
Yeah.
And it's like, so, like, I look at Sunshine, I still think that game looks really, like, gorgeous looking, or something.
The problem, I should clarify that statement a bit about Smash earlier. It's because I'm trying to play it on an HD TV and I'm not putting it on my CRT, so it looks like.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I always play those on a CRT.
Yeah, I have a crappy upscaler that's not doing the job, and it's like I'm just messing with it on the HD. So, when you say about Game Boy, my memory from my Game Boy catalog is so shoddy because I haven't ever returned to that system since I was a kid. The one game that pops to mind is like the Kid Icarus sequel that was on there. That's a half decent game.
Kid Icarus 3D Uprising would be way better on the Switch. I feel like they could improve that game. Like, that game was good.
I'll just make a sequel.
Yeah.
That's a sequel, but yeah, I would love to see that series get more love than it does. I mean, there's Kid Icarus 2 is on Game Boy Original. Technically the second game in the series, and they would need to do what people recently did with the Game Boy Metroid game that they remade onto like PC recently, and then Nintendo shut it down. Like the way
AM2R Metroid 2.
Yeah, they would need to do the exact same thing with the Kid Icarus game because it's like a black and white game with a lot of flaws. But if you're specifically saying like wish list stuff that's never going to happen, I'd be like, well, I'd like to see that game get the same kind of treatment where you could appreciate a game that's not great, but it's part of a series, and there's not really any way to play it unless you're going to go back and play it on Game Boy. Or I think there might have been a port to either the Wii shop or the Wii U shop that you could have played it on, but I'm not sure. It's called Kid Icarus of Myth and Monsters. It's good, but it's a Game Boy game, so it comes with a warning label. It's a Game Boy game.
All right, we've got two other things I want to go through quickly. Did I cut you off, Eli?
No, you're good.
Okay. So the first thing... Oh, Mike, are you talking?
No, I didn't hear you on that one. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. So first thing, two things. EA says apparently they're going to bring one or two of their biggest games to Switch. I'm guessing one is probably going to be a sports title, but...
I'm going to guess both are sports titles.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it's Mass Effect and Battlefront 2, because both of those haven't come out yet, so it would be new games. It could be Battlefield 1 or Titanfall 2, which Actually, I don't think Titanfall 2, because I've heard the sales aren't that good for it, so I doubt they'd port that.
Honestly, I don't think I think that the only one that has a possibility is maybe Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Battlefield 1 or Titanfall are anywhere near the realm of being released there. And then Battlefront 2 being a new game is maybe a little more practical, but being that it's such an online game, I don't know if that's going to actually happen either. So
yeah,
I'm skeptical. I'm thinking like maybe like FIFA and Madden and NHL or whatever, and maybe like one other game that's like somewhere in the middle between being like a full AAA and not. Sorry, I'm a skeptic in third party here.
No, I totally get it. I'm expecting one of them to be. I'm expecting one of them to be a sports title or something we don't care about, and I'm hoping they have at least two. And I just want at least Mass Effect. Just put Mass Effect on it, I'll be fine. Battlefront is probably going to be cool, but just get Mass Effect on there. Just do it.
I played Mass Effect on Wii U, the one that they released. The series didn't do it for me, but I'd play another one. I'd give it another chance if they bring one over. But I'd need to like set aside. I'd need to go into it this time knowing how talky it is. God, how talky it is. God, how talky that game is. Like
coming from the talky guy.
I know. I love to talk. I don't want my games to talk. I want to talk at my games, bro.
There's like you just come downstairs to the basement where Clay or Uno usually plays his games. You hear him talking to himself at 3 a.m. Walk in the room. It's like, no, I'm just telling Miranda how great she looks.
Oh man, you don't even want to know what I was saying to her at 3 a.m. Baby. Yeah, I just like it's when you sit down to play a game. It's why I don't play RPGs. I respect it, the enjoyment for them, but it's like I don't want to sit here and I'd read a book. I'd go read a book if I want to read. I like reading books.
RPGs are more than reading a book. It's experiencing the story.
There's numbers, man.
Tactics, bro.
Pressing A.
It's like an accountant's wet dream. Oh my gosh, all the numbers. Crunch the numbers, man.
Like, yeah.
I hear you. Not my thing, but I hear you. Yeah, I would play another one, but it felt, Mass Effect felt so disappointing to me that it's like, all right, I got 1 hour to play a video game. Guess what? The next 1 hour is going to be walking around in this hospital talking to people. Like, God, I'm banging my head on the desk just thinking about it. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah, it takes like an hour to even do like an actual 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
So let's guess what does more damage to Unoclay, sniffing paint or banging his head against the desk.
Oh man, I'd rather sniff the paint. I mean, give me the choice, but
Speaking of adventure games, this is a segue to the last thing. There's a rumor that apparently Zelda is going to come out summer of 2017 rather than March, the launch of the Switch. So technically, Nintendo never confirmed that it was going to come at March. People just assumed that the system was delayed for Zelda, and also some retailer put that it was coming at March because whatever, tentative release date. But how do you feel about it coming out summer if that's the actual date?
I quit. I'm done with Nintendo. I quit.
Pretty much. No. No, I mean, I'm sure it sounds like they know what they're doing. I'm sure there's going to be more than enough games at launch, and we always get a drought in the summer, so it'll be fine. My fear is having another E3, so if they're going to launch it, I want it like end of May, very early summer. I don't want Zelda E3 for like the 8th time.
Yeah, that would be hell.
Zelda E3 all day. Alright, that's it. Every E3. Same Zelda though.
It will be forever delayed. No, guys, it's coming.
As long as there's stuff for me to play it at launch, I could care less. True answer, I could care less. Like, Zelda is a series for me that I struggle to like always be super excited about it. I like it, and I'm always hopeful for a good one. But the 3D ones I like less than the 2D ones. So given that this is a 3D one, I'm not as diehard like excited for it. So as long as there's games that I haven't, because my big concern, if we had like another hour and a half to do this podcast, we could get into this. But my big concern is that, like, as a really big supporter of the Wii U, there is a bit of me that's worried, like, well, what do I play at launch? You know what I mean? Like, okay, there's a Mario game. Good. Expected that. That's good. You know? But I've already played 100 hours of Splatoon, 400 of Smash, 100 of Mario Kart, you know, like,
yeah.
What, you know, tell me what Pikmin 4, if that's a launch window, then I'm psyched, you know, because
apparently that's like the end of 2017 or 2018 or something.
Yeah, those rumors get me that I'm like, you know, you guys know we're all in solidarity here. We're all buying it day one, all that kind of good stuff. But you know, I've been through it a few times, and I have that in my head. I'm like, what am I going to be playing day one? I mean, a pack-in of Splatoon, I'll play it. God help me, I'll play it. But you know, like,
well, Mario's going to be a launch game.
You know, and that's good. You know, I guess what I'm saying is, and it's maybe something we can continue at another time discussing, but till they give me a little bit more, there is just like little niggling little bit of like my soul that like is worried of like, well, what's the thing in it for the guy who's had a Wii U and bought virtually every important game for it, you know, like, and played the crap out of it. You know, what's the game for me that I'm pumped about? Because Mario is cool. Don't get me wrong, but would be really good to be like surprised a little bit with something I'm pumped about. So Zelda's slipping for me, and that way does become a little bit like concerning if that's like the really big game. And I can totally imagine it slipping, and I can totally see them even allowing it to slip because they think, you know, it's a big thing to look forward to for people. You know, it's not launch day. It's the thing that's like the second wave of excitement in like 3 months when we drop the Pokemon, when we drop the Zelda, like 1-2 combo in the middle of summer, you know, and get people pumped for the system, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was actually thinking about this today because I pre-ordered a bunch of games before, and one was Final Fantasy 15, and I got like $20 off by pre-ordering it like forever ago, and due to financial situations and whatnot, I'll probably have to cancel it, which sucks because it's regular $80. So I was thinking to myself, I wonder if I'm going to get a PS4 first or a Switch, and I think the tipping point will be if Zelda is at launch, because if Zelda is like a couple months later, I'll probably get a PS4 first because there's like a dozen games that are like $10 or $20 that I can get and like hold myself off, and then by the time like Zelda comes out, I can just get it on Switch, because I figured if I'm gonna have to put down like $80 or whatever for Zelda, it's like, am I really gonna want to put it on the Wii U now? Like, if I'm gonna get a Switch, I might as well just hold off and get the Switch version instead, because it'll probably look better and whatnot. So I think I might actually get a PS4 some point early in the year, and then just wait for Zelda to come out and pick up a Switch then. Because I mean Mario's great and it looks amazing, but out of the 6 seconds we saw, but I don't think it's enough because I don't care much about the ports.
I was just gonna say, like, what have you been watching? You're like, it looks great. I'm like what?
There's 6 seconds. There's a cool hub town. There's a Mexican theme. It's cool. There's pretty pictures, and I'm happy.
That's a tough one. It's funny when you say that. I mean, I know we got to wrap here. It's funny that you say that. Like, there's been that little tiny part of me that's had that same thought too, that I'm like, I always buy like other systems. Like every time I play one, I'm always a little disappointed. They're not that fun to me. I like Nintendo's style and their hardware is so much better. It's just my taste. I'm not judging anyone out there, you know, for saying I'm an idiot, even though you're judging me, you know, but I like it better. And, there's that part of me that thinks that when I look at that launch on it, it's crossed my mind where I'm like, what if this system doesn't arrive with like a lot of stuff I haven't played? It's going to be hard to convince me to like want to play another 100 hours of Splatoon or spend all that money for a game I like a lot. I still play it on a random basis. I'll throw in Splatoon and play like 15, 20 minutes of it still to this day. But yeah, like, and I was at like a big discount shopping warehouse near our house the other day, and they had some kind of deal for I don't know if it was Xbox or PlayStation, but it was a good deal. It was like $250 for a system, and I was like, yeah, when's the day I'm going to cave and like buy one of these just to play around with it and then sell it again on eBay or something like that, and it's not here yet, but that launch lineup, when you bring up that question, and the question of Zelda slipping, it there's thoughts go through my head occasionally, where I'm like, oh, I wonder, but, probably won't ever happen, but, it's there, Nintendo, if you're listening, give me something to play, so,
Yep. So I think that'll about end it here for this week's podcast. You can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And Eli, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Paula Salon, and then you can find my writing on NintendoEnthusiast.com and Enthusiast.gg.
Cool. Mike's typing there at something, so why don't you tell us where we can find you?
I'm just typing for you guys to follow me at Troy Fullbusted on Twitter, and then SB Gaming 64 on YouTube.
Cool. And Unoclay, where can people find you?
As always, you can still find me at my IGN, the place we all met up at. That's myign.com. I am still Unoclay1 over there, still holding it down. And that's all we got for this week, I guess, guys, right?
Forget it, I'm happy.
Unoclay the jerk. So wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle on basically every platform on the internet. Hit us up with your questions or interest. If you want to be a guest, you can message at Just Another Castle or message me at the Mango Viking on Twitter. So we'll see you next time and leave gaming to Nintendo.